Their Broncos, an orange-clad sellout crowd, the 122nd in a row to see the unbeaten Denver Broncos meet last year's AFC champions, the New England Patriots. Good afternoon, everyone. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. We're set for the kickoff. Beautiful grass surface of Mile High Stadium. These two teams have played the very first American Football League game back in 1960. It was a Friday night at Boston University's Nickerson Field. Broncos won 13-10. The overall series 12-11 New England. The Broncos off to their best start in 10 seasons since their Super Bowl year 1977, when they began 6-0, one of 6 unbeaten teams starting today in the NFL, and Rich Karlis kicks it off. Spins down to Irving Fryer, and the former #1 pick can't get to the 20-yard line, tripped up at the 17. Randy Robbins made the hit on the special teams for Denver. The white-clad Patriots with Tony Eason, number 11 at quarterback. The Blade, Tony Collins, and Craig James, a 1,000-yard rusher last year. Stanley Morgan, 22 catches already this year, leads the entire NFL. Irving Fryer at the other wideout. Stephen Starring is injured. Greg Hawthorne, the tight end. The blockers, Holloway, Fairchild, Brock, Wooten, and Moore. Craig James wrapped up, and he may have fumbled. Tom Jackson and Steve Foley, two of the veterans in that orange-clad Denver defense, to make the tackle. Foley wearing his interception total on his uniform, 43, and that ties Goose Gonsolin's Denver record. Jones, Cragen, and Townsend up front in the 3-4 defense of Joe Collier. Ryan, Mecklenburg, Hundley, and Jackson the linebackers, with Wright and Harden at the corners, Dennis Smith the Pro Bowler, and Foley at safety. Collins down at the 21 after a gain of only 4. Mike Harden made the hit. It'll be 3rd down and about 5.
A very quick and responsive Denver defense. Not as talented as the Patriot defense, but they beat you with their scheme quite often, Dick. They do a lot of stunning and blitzing. They try and create a lot of confusion at the line of scrimmage.
Cedric Jones and Derwin Williams are wide right. Morgan split to the left. Out of the shotgun, Eason. He's not been intercepted all year. And he throws behind his intended target, Derwin Williams, as the Broncos had pressure on. Rulon Jones, 75. The man driving in on Eason.
Right away, we're going to get a look at Rich Camarillo. Camarillo's 2 blocked punts last week, really the major factor in that critical loss to the Seattle Seahawks. You got to believe that Denver will try and put some heat on him, and we'll watch Camarillo to see if he picks up his pace a little bit. Although I don't think anyone really blames Camarillo for those blocks last week.
Came through scot-free both times. Gerald Wilhite, the deep man, at the Denver 34. Camarillo hits a beauty. Perfect spiral to the 28. Wilhite to the 40. Oh, end over end fumbles the ball, but I believe the fumble occurred when he hit the ground, and it'll be Denver's ball at the 44-yard line. Ed Williams with a submarining tackle for New England after a 50-yard punt and a 14-yard return.
One of the problems with kicking here in Denver is the ball travels so far. Camarillo out-kicked his coverage. There was a body there, and Wilhite launched into the air. You saw the ball roll free as he hit the ground, and a good call by the official. The ball was dead at that spot.
John Elway starts in good position at his own 44. Sammy Winder, the solo running back, and that's Clint Sampson in motion. Winder for 5. Ronnie Lepet at the left corner for New England makes the stop. The offense for the Broncos with Elway at quarterback, Winder and Wilhite, the running backs to start. Clint Sampson and Steve Watson, the veteran, on the wideouts, with Clarence Kay, a fine blocking tight end. Cooper, Bishop, Bryan, Howard, and Lanier, the front 5. Steve Sewell, an all-purpose back and receiver, number 30, is in the game now for Denver. That's Sewell coming out wide left on 2nd and 5. He throws to Sewell. drops the ball at the New England 45 in front of Jim Bowman. Bowman, number 28, starting for Roland James at safety. James will not play today, and the second-year man from Central Michigan takes his spot. Brent Williams, a rookie from Toledo. Toby Williams, no relation, at the nose, and Garen Veras in his second year out of Stanford, a young defensive line. Maybe the best linebacker, some would argue the best in the NFL. Tippett, Nelson, McGrew, and Blackman. And that back four that played all 16 games together last year broken up today because of the injury by James, Lippett, and Claiborne at the corners, with James and Marion at safety. 3rd and 5. Elway has a man wide open. Mark Jackson, the rookie from Purdue, he fumbles. Marion falls on it. Is it? Nope, out of bounds. Already out of bounds.
Marion, had that ball been in bounds another yard or two, it would have been a fumble and a fumble recovery for New England. But the ball is out of bounds before they can recover it. Elway out of the shotgun with time to throw, finds the speedster, Mark Jackson here. Now watch him as he hits. Right there, that ball comes loose. Now watch it as it rolls toward the sideline. Marion can't get there before the ball rolls out of bounds.
Bowman applied the hit on Jackson that separated him from the football, but it takes a Denver bounce. First down, just outside the 30. Sewell down at the 26-yard line. Sewell wears number 30. That was the same number that Dan Reeves in his playing career at Dallas wore, and their backs much alike. Players that can do a lot of things: block, catch the ball, throw the ball, and certainly run it as well.
I don't think Danny Reeves, with all of his performance, had the kind of talent that Steve Sewell has, and that's one reason that Reeves is so high on this young man and is trying to find so many ways to utilize his talent.
2nd down and a long 5 just outside the Patriots' 26-yard line. I do not know what that delay was for. Sampson right. Watson, who had a 49-game catching streak broken last week at Philadelphia, the veteran, is to the left. Little inside handoff to Winder that was read very well by the New England defense. Don Blackman, Lawrence McGrew, and Garen Veras. It was Veras, number 60, who read it well. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 6. Welcome to Denver. Those of you that watched our first game of the NBC doubleheader, the Seattle-Washington game, won by the Redskins 19-14. So Washington is 4-0, Seattle 3-1. Here, just underway, first possession for Denver, 3rd and 6 at the 27, and the ball deflected incomplete. Veras again. What a fine young athlete he is. He's 10 pounds heavier than last year. As a rookie, he had 10 sacks and 4 in the playoffs.
Excellent speed and good hands. You see him breaking clear on that play and then reacting very quickly as Elway had the receiver open and a little flare pattern to the outside.
Kansas City has beaten Buffalo 2017, so the Chiefs are 3-1. Seattle now 3-1. Denver trying to go 4-0, and it'll be Rich Carlos, a long attempt, 44 yards. Long enough and good. The Broncos strike first on a 44-yard field goal by Rich Carlos, his 3rd of the young season. And our first score report on our 10-minute ticker. We'll check other action for you. Final: Washington 19, Seattle 14. The Bears big at Cincinnati 44-7. San Francisco and the troubles continue at Miami for the Dolphins. The Dolphins about to go 1-3. Philadelphia surprising the Rams, who were unbeaten going into Philly today. Final, as we gave you, the Chiefs over Buffalo 2017. Pittsburgh and Houston are tied at 13 in the 4th. The Giants, overcoming an early 2-touchdown lead, now lead by 3 against New Orleans at home. Cleveland has jumped up 10 points on the Lions, and Minnesota, with Tommy Kramer throwing 6 touchdown passes, leading Green Bay. Carlos and Tony Franklin, his counterpart for New England, 2 barefooted kickers at work today.
There are only 4 in the league, Dick, and we got 2 of them on the field today. And you see that little sock he has on his foot? That is mandated by the league. He's got to wear the colored portion of the sock, even though he doesn't have to wear the bottom of the sock. Said he went out last week without that sock, and they sent him back to the dressing room. Said, "Can't play, son, unless you put on that half sock."
Does that tie an NFL record? 2 barefooted?
2 barefooted. Well, he had 2 in Philadelphia last week, too.
So that ties it. Look at that one. Way back in the end zone to Irving Fryer, who'll settle for the touchback. That ball traveling nearly 75 yards in the air. Eason with his second turn for New England. Boy, that class of '83 that we've talked so much about, and they're marked by the stars on the left side of the numbers. Marino, Eason, O'Brien, then Dave Archer of Atlanta, Elway and Kelly. 5 of the top 6 rated passers in the league after 3 games are all out of that '83 draft. Eason, screen to Collins, 20, 25, and Tony Collins, who played his ball for the Pirates of East Carolina, has 9 yards on that reception.
Dick, in talking to Dan Reeves and the rest of the Denver coaches, the one thing that impressed them most as they looked at the film and started to get ready for New England was the tremendous balance of this New England team. They can run the football, they can throw it short, they can throw it long, and they play sound defense.
We welcome those of you who've seen the Kansas City Buffalo game, first half of our NBC doubleheader. The Chiefs edging the Bills in that one. Here 3-0 Denver early. Over the middle to Fryer, incomplete. Trying to find a gap in that zone of the Bronco deep defense, but Eason just missed firing as he had a free down on 2nd and 1. We played 5 minutes of the opening quarter here at Mile High Stadium. The usual sellout crowd in Denver to cheer for their unbeaten Broncos. New England 2-1 after that defeat last week at home to Seattle 38-31 when they let a 10-point lead in the 4th quarter get away. And the Broncos have scored early on a 44-yard field goal by Rich Carlos. Greg James stopped short of first down yardage. No gain for James.
Denver jumping around in that defensive set, overloading on one side of the defense. But the thing they do best defensively is to swarm to the football. We talked about New England's linebackers. These Denver defensive linebackers, a pretty fine pair themselves, a pretty fine set back there. 4 outstanding linebackers, and they rotate a lot of people in and out of that defense.
Now, Merlin, as a defensive player, when you say you swarm to the ball, doesn't that open up a play where you reverse off that, try to get everyone going one direction and come back? But Denver doesn't seem to be fooled often either.
They always have someone with that responsibility to the outside, Dick.
Wilhite, who had a good return on his first attempt. Camarillo driving it deep, but Wilhite has room to return from the 18, 25, 30, and down he goes again. That's 2 returns and 2 somersaults for Wilhite. Of course, he's the man who doesn't mind being upside down. He used to do that mile-high end zone flip to celebrate his touchdowns. 54-yard punt, 17-yard return. A reminder to all you watching around the country, we again will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game. That announcement at the conclusion of this contest from Denver. 9:25 remaining in the opening quarter. Ball just inside the Denver 35. 3-0 Broncos. Winder, 40, 45, and Sammy Winder is in New England territory behind the block of tight end Clarence Kay.
Clarence Kay, coming in motion from the outside, actually became a trapper on that play to help spring it to the inside. Andre Tippett blocked very well on that play, couldn't get in to help. Last week, the Seattle Seahawks pounded on the right side of their offensive line, aiming at Toby Williams and running inside of Andre Tippett.
Winder, who had 104 yards against Philadelphia last week, gained 17 on that play. He's the lone setback. Look how deep he is. He's 8 yards behind Elway. Fumbles, and the New England Patriots apparently have recovered. at their 46-yard line. Winder hit, and the ball falling into the grasp of Garen Veras, who's had a big first quarter already for New England.
Certainly has had his name mentioned many times, and one of the things that Raymond Berry said he wanted to improve when he came to New England was the turnover factor. He said, we've got to take the ball away. An example right there of alert defensive play, stripping the football away, something that both of these teams do effectively. Watch it here.
Winder with Blackman coming up to hit him from the backside and knock the ball away.
Ooh,
and
did
then
you
Veras,
see Lawrence McGrew falling back on his leg there? Oof.
There's McGrew, and they're testing that leg.
Lawrence McGrew's leg trapped underneath him as he tried to slide in and help with that ball. Looked like he may have stretched that knee joint just a little bit. Here's a shot of it. Watch McGrew coming in from the top there. His leg goes underneath him. And Winder, look at him. You see him grabbing for that leg, trying to get it out from underneath. He is walking off the field. I tell you, that a testament to the flexibility of some of these athletes, that their bodies can take that kind of pressure and they can still survive.
Winder, a good run, and then he coughs up the football. Turnover ratio, Dan Reeves, the coach of the Broncos, said this is the key to the game. And we've got to be plus in turnover ratio and sack differential. We have to get more sacks than be sacked. But the first mistake goes to New England. 3-0 Broncos. Eason to Craig James. And the former partner of Eric Dickerson in that pony backfield of SMU gets short yardage. Andre Townsend makes the tackle.
One of the things that Joe Collier is proud of in his defense is the fact that he has added a great deal of speed. They put a lot of young players into this defense, in particular on the defensive line, where Townsend is starting, Greg Cragen is starting, along with Rulon Jones. And what you'll see in there now, you'll see those guys moving all around, but they're a lot quicker than they were over the last few years.
2nd down and 8. And we'll see how they sort this one out. Reuben Carter now is playing behind Greg Cragen, a second-year nose tackle from Utah State, and Joe Collier, with the retirement of Barney Chavis, has moved Townsend into his spot.
Ron Wooten called. There you see Joe Collier signaling. And Dick, you talked about the first game between these two teams. Collier at that time was on Lou Saban's staff back in New England. He's been coaching. There are only 4 of those original AFL coaches still active. And he's been here in Denver for 18 years. What a bright man.
He's the only one who has coached in the AFL or AFC all 26 years. After the penalty, 2nd and long. Fryer in motion. Eason going long over the middle. Almost intercepted by Tony Lilly. Lilly, a 5th defensive back, closest to the ball. Stanley Morgan, the intended receiver.
Mecklenburg, fine linebacker, literally plays all over the field. He's coming from that middle linebacking position. Look at him getting by one blocker, a second man to pick him up, forcing the pressure. But they were very lucky that that ball was not intercepted. Watch Stanley Morgan go in and strip that ball away from Tony Lilly. That's awareness on the part of a receiver.
Veteran from Tennessee, who is the all-time career receiver, New England history, and touchdown maker. 3rd and 13. Eason complete to Cedric Jones at the Denver 35, a first down. Jones with his first catch of the game. Played his college ball for the Blue Devils of Duke.
I asked Steve Grogan about the growth of his young quarterback. There's Grogan on the sideline. Grogan calling plays for Tony Eason. And he said the thing Eason is doing better this year than he's ever done before is to use his mobility. He took some heavy knocks about not being mobile in that backfield, but he is moving much better now.
First time New England's been in Denver's half of the field. Tony Collins behind James. Fine block by Craig James. Collins goes out of bounds at about the 32-yard line, a gain of 4.
The other thing that's interesting about the relationship now that Grogan has been given the responsibility of calling the plays by Raymond Berry on the sideline, he was telling me that he and Eason are able to communicate very effectively, and what he can do for Eason is that if he feels that Eason is struggling a little bit, he can give him plays that will help him get his timing back, get back into the momentum of things. And that only a quarterback who's played can have that kind of feel. 2nd and 10 New England.
How did Raymond Berry describe him yesterday? He has a 4-4 brain.
That's he's talking about speed there, but what a nice way to describe the man.
That's Collins inside the 30-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and about 4. Six minutes 53 seconds left in the opening period here. As you look at the other action, early games, Washington winning, Bears about to, and San Francisco the same. Rams drawing closer, but down by 2 touchdowns. Kansas City has won. Minnesota winning, Cleveland winning, and the Giants rallying from 17-0 down. Complete. Morgan, and a first down at the 20-yard line. Stanley Morgan's first catch today, his 23rd of this young season, leading the NFL with his 22 catches and trying for his 5th straight 100-yard game.
You'll see number 86 Morgan coming on that quick slant to the inside, getting away from 45 Steve Wilson, and with his quickness and his agility, he's a tough man to cover on a quick timing pattern like that.
6 minutes left in the quarter. 3-0 Denver. James 3.5 to 4 yards. Denver leads by a field goal here at Mile High. Let's go to New York.
This was the scene a moment ago at Fenway Park. Kelly Gruber pops up the pitch from Oil Can Boyd. When it settles into the glove of Bill Buckner, the Red Sox have clinched in the American League East. Plenty of police ringing the field. The fans celebrated in the stands. The Red Sox head for the playoffs.
Well, congratulations to John McNamara and the Boston Red Sox. Now the 4 playoff spots are set. Craig James. No home run there for the Pats as he stopped after a half-yard gain. Earlier this weekend, the Angels clinching in the West, so it'll be the Red Sox, the Angels, Houston, and the Mets, and of course at World Series time mid-October, NBC Sports again will carry the Fall Classic for you.
Lots of substitution for these 2 teams. 4 men came into the huddle and 4 came out for Denver. 3 men on and off for New England. Situation substitution.
Eason from the shotgun. In trouble, and down he goes. The first sack of the game. Rulon Jones had a piece of it, as did Carl Mecklenburg.
Mecklenburg is all over the field again, and what an impact player he is, burrowing in underneath the stack.
Steve Moore, the right tackle of the Patriots, slow getting up. Big house.
I asked him about his weight. He was a little upset. He said the NBC announcers last week said I weighed over 340 pounds. He said that's not true. I'm down to 326. And I said, what's your goal? And he said, I'm shooting for 295. I said, when do you want to be there? He said, I think I can be there in another 2 weeks. They're concerned about him now as they're checking him on the field. And there on the sideline is Carl Mecklenburg. What an impact player he is. And let's go back and take a peek at that play. You see him coming in on the far side, a stunt there. Rulon Jones clearing room for him, and nobody even touched Mecklenburg as he just streaked into the backfield.
13 sacks last year, as you saw, a Denver record. You know, it's interesting why he was available on the 12th round at the University of Minnesota. He's a very bright student, had taken the medical examination to go into med school at Minnesota and been studying all week and obviously not sleeping or eating well. The next day they timed him and he ran a 5-second 40, which isn't very good for a linebacker. So he was available. He actually can run around a 4.7 and seems a lot quicker than that and carries 250 pounds.
You know, I asked him yesterday about positions. I said, how many positions are you likely to play in the game? He said, well, let's see now. 1, 2, 7.
Everything but the 4 defensive back.
That's right. He lines up. And that's good news as the house is up on his feet. Mecklenburg can be found in an up position as a linebacker in any of the 4 linebacking positions, or as a down lineman in any of the lineman positions on the field. And believe me, as an offensive coordinator, you look for number 77 because you know if you don't handle him, he's going to cause problems for you.
I'm old enough to remember Joe Palooka at the movies. Boy, this kid, if they ever brought it back, you could cast the lead role right there. Is that a Joe Palooka?
Steve Moore having a little trouble still with that leg as they're helping him off the field. Takes a few to help him off the field, too. It
does not look good as Moore really favoring that knee.
Darrell Haley, I think, will come in. Yes, Haley already in on that spot. And, of course, Haley was the starter there before he had trouble with colitis that sent his weight tumbling down, took him out of the lineup. Steve Moore came in last year and really did a great job of filling in, and it's been difficult for Haley to get back into that starting lineup. Well, he's in there right now, lining up next to Ron Wooten on the right side of that Patriot line.
Now here's a field goal try coming up from Tony Franklin. It'll be 41 or 42 yards, depending on the spot. Eason to hold. Just inside the 42. Franklin has already kicked 7 of 9 this year. And he has it on its way. No good. It sails to the right. So Carlos connects from 44. Franklin narrowly misses from 42. With 4 minutes 20 seconds left in the opening period, Broncos lead by 3.
Mercedes-Benz was building sports sedans before there was such a term as sports sedan. Experience pays. The Mercedes-Benz 190 class. The heart of a sports sedan. The soul of a Mercedes-Benz. The 190 class. Something more than a sports sedan. Nothing less than a Mercedes-Benz.
Charlie, give me a light. Charlie, a Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Hey, thanks.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Can I have a light? Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
I've been shot at, shot up, and shot down. So I don't take chances on anything. I won't touch a filter that isn't from AC. Why mess with air filters that can't go for up to 30,000 miles? Or oil filters that can't deliver up to 15,000? For the AC Delco retailer nearest you, just give me a call at 1-800-AC Delco. If you put your muscle into a job, use your head and do it with AC Delco.
It's a beautiful fall day in Denver, and off in the near distance some snow dusting the tops of those mountains. A reminder that it won't always be this nice.
Certainly true. In fact, as I was flying in, looking down over Aspen and Snowmass, they've already got snow stacked up there. And I'm saying, wait a minute, this is early. They can't be skiing yet. We got football to play.
They can't wait. Hardly a cold time down below. These two teams, many feel, could be the finalists in the AFC Championship game.
Dick, no question in my mind that they have the quality to do it. In fact, last year, New England went to the playoffs in the place of Denver. Had the same records, but New England had a better record against common opponents.
11-5, the two teams finished last year. Winder with a flag down, and that 10-yard gain may be nullified with a holding call. Steve Nelson made the tackle.
That offensive line for the the Denver Broncos having to struggle a little bit because of Mark Cooper's absence in there, although
Number 64 on the offense. It's still first down.
Paul Howard, who has been the starter in there for so many years, has gone back into the starting lineup in the absence of Cooper. Billy Bryant, the center, ticketed for the holding. You don't see him called for that very often. Not a power blocker. He's one of those position people. Very quick and getting his body in good position to shield people, turn them away from the play.
3-0. The Broncos lead it. Facing 1st and 20, Elway. The quick out, incomplete to Sewell. Covered by Bowman. Washington remains unbeaten. That was a battle of undefeated, so 2 of the unbeatens have gone by the boards today. The Rams also losing. The Bears game continues on. The Rams lost at Philadelphia. Kansas City by a field goal. Pittsburgh leads by 3 in the 4th. Early reports, second game, San Diego scores first at Los Angeles, where the Raiders are 0-3, and Atlanta finds Tampa Bay kicking a field goal early. The Falcons, one of those 6 unbeaten teams after the first 3 weeks. Wilhite drawing the attention of Don Blackman, a 235-pound linebacker from Tulsa. Is he a compliment to Tippett? What bookends?
A little shovel pass. That's a play you don't see very often. They just bring the receiver in motion. Watch Wilhite. He'll come up inside, step back by the quarterback to draw the end right there. You see him take the end out and then flip. It's almost a reverse option. They lead the end outside with the quarterback and then flip it inside and let that back cut up inside. But good linebacking play. Made sure it didn't go too far.
3rd and 17 for Elway. Like Eason, has not been intercepted this year. Looking long, now in trouble. Look at the mobility. That's one of his many strengths. Now he goes long and too long. Intended for Mark Jackson, the rookie from Purdue, who was top receiver of Jim Everett, the new $1 million quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams.
One of the strengths of Elway is his ability to manufacture plays and his mobility. This is a planned rollout. That part of it. Watch what happens when he feels pressure here. Elway swings back, comes back the other direction, gets a little extra time for his receivers. But that quick release threw that ball a little too high for Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson really took a shot. You see Elway saying, gosh, bring him down. Get him down there a little bit.
Jack Wheel from Wyoming to punt. Irving Fryer, the solo return man at the New England 40. Beautiful high kick. Oh, that is a honey to Fryer. 26. Back to the 25. And finally out of bounds at the 35-yard line. No flags are down. And we have a timeout with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in the first quarter, as you see Steve Moore being taken back to the New England locker room. Not good news.
8 long years of development have created the Mercedes-Benz 300E. It moves from 0 to 55 in a stunning 7.5 seconds. It moves performance sedan engineering into a new dimension. And it returns to 0 with computerized ABS anti-lock brakes. The 300E sedan.
Mobil One synthetic motor oil. It's what all these racing champions have in common. It gives any engine unbeatable protection. From an IndyCar engine to a powerful 8-cylinder engine to a turbo 6 to a hard-working 4-cylinder engine. It protects against extreme engine stress better than any conventional oil. If Mobil One can protect these engines, think what it can do for yours. Mobil One, the choice of champions.
Who's playing? McDonald's! NFL kickoff payoff! I'm playing! He's playing! Are you playing? We're all playing!
Collect trading cards of your favorite NFL stars.
I got your card, I got your card. I don't have your card yet.
Every kickoff payoff card is a winner. Win a McDonald's sandwich, fries, or Coca-Cola.
Cards must be redeemed during the following week.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, you want to play? NFL kickoff payoff! Great idea!
Come on, let's go.
At McDonald's! See you there.
An American tradition continues. They are baseball's most acclaimed hitmen. Don Mattingly and Wade Boggs have captured the last 3 American League batting titles. Next Saturday, these two swingers go eye to eye for the 86th crown as the Yankees battle the Red Sox or the Braves meet the Astros. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting.
Courage under pressure. Irving Fryer, Daniel Hunter, number 25, all over Fryer. Makes the cool catch, steps around, tries to get to the outside. No room, although he did pick up a couple of yards, but that's a heady play by Irving Fryer.
Also appeared that New England got away with a push in the back on that return. Fryer, that's the key to a good return man. You have to make the first man miss. And the real good ones have that talent. James for a yard. By the way, the 55-yard punt by Wheel of Denver, his longest of this year, as he wins the kicking job here from Chris Norman.
They're excited about him, and that's an area in which Denver has suffered over the last few years. If Wheel can come through and demonstrate some consistency to go with the power in that leg, they're going to be awfully happy here in Denver.
3-0 Broncos with 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Eason Fine catch by Craig James, and he carries 2 orange shirts to the 49 of Denver. Jim Ryan finally got him to the grass. A 16-yard gain.
The other things that Grogan said about Eason, and I think we can watch it later on in this game as you see the play being signaled in. Tom Ramsey, the quarterback, he said his feet used to get off Lancey in there when the pressure was on. But he is really starting to settle down, and he'll stand in there and step up and deliver that pass as opposed to throwing off his heels as he had done sometimes in the past.
He's gone over 150 throws without an interception. And there picks up 6 or 7 more to Greg Hawthorne. Now the tight end. Hawthorne, of course, the #1 pick of the Steelers in '79, and a talent, but never could really find a slot. And Raymond Berry made that one of his projects. Told us about that yesterday.
Said he couldn't stand to look at Hawthorne and see all that ability and not be able to find a way to utilize it. Well, at tight end, he can utilize that ability. And Hawthorne picked up about 10 extra pounds, beating himself up, knowing he was going to have to do more blocking, but still has that fine speed and such a competitive spirit.
Little misdirection. A flag is down. James protecting the ball to the 31 of Denver. We'll see if it counts. 12 yards if. Simon Fletcher, 73, in on the tackle. Motion against New England will nullify that play. The other, just to tag on to the Greg Hawthorne story, Merlin, it was interesting as Raymond talked about the draft, and he said in his years as an assistant he was exposed to the draft, and he said the toughest place to find talent is at tight end. We asked him why. He said because they're all in the NBA.
I think he's probably right too. The big man that can move, that can work in traffic, and those tight ends often have to break up through the line, through all the traffic to catch the football. Hawthorne, certainly not one of the bigger tight ends around, has to compensate for that lack of size.
And Greg Beatty, the rookie backup from Stanford, a basketball power forward. So that's what he's got at the other spot, over the middle to Collins. He ducks down under the teeth of that deep defense of the Broncos for 10 yards at the 37. Make it the 38-yard line.
Strength of Eason's passing game, traditionally the shorter passes, although he is getting more comfortable with the long ball, and certainly I think part of that, the ability to adjust to an offense. They had to put in a new offense last year. It was Eason's second time around, and he's doing much better with it.
Final seconds of the opening period, and there's the gun, the end of the first quarter at Mile High Stadium. The Broncos, on a 44-yard field goal, have the lead.
It is an automotive advance whose time has come. The Mercedes-Benz Supplemental Restraint System, SRS. In a severe frontal impact, a driver's side airbag and emergency tensioning retractors in both front seat belts supplement 3-point seatbelt restraint. All in a fraction of a second. SRS, only from Mercedes-Benz. And now standard equipment on every Mercedes-Benz for 1986.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Not everyone got a vacation this summer.
Great Gregory!
I need a vacation like nobody's business. I need a vacation.
This fall, you can still get great low fares to more places on the biggest bargain airline, United.
I got a vacation.
Give me another shot at
it. And I'm not just flying, I'm flying the friendly sky.
Nice soft landing.
Ramada wants to know what makes John Madden mad.
Try to get some special treatment in a hotel. You show them your gold card, your silver card, every precious metal card in the book, and they still treat you like a nobody. But don't get mad. Just get yourself a free Ramada business card. One little red card, get your preferred room rates, express check-in and check-out, and more. With treatment like that, why carry anything else? Yeah. Next time, Ramada.
Call 1-800-2-RAMADA.
Anything good on after the game Sundays? Oh, right.
Our House tonight at 7, 6 Central and Mountain.
Welcome back to Mile High Stadium. You see the new skyboxes atop the western sidelines. Dan Reeves, now the longest in tenure of any Denver coach's 6th year.
He talked to us about player input. I think it's a real test of a coach's confidence that they allow their players to really be involved. Both these coaches have that philosophy.
We open the second quarter, 3-0 Denver. New England at the Bronco 38 with a first down. Fryer in motion. Eason looking for Morgan. Incomplete. Morgan slipped at the 25-yard line in front of Steve Wilson.
This field was sodded recently. They took out the baseball part of the field, and it's possible he hit a loose piece of sod down there.
Let's see what's happening elsewhere in the NFL. 44-7. The Bears are 4-0. They're in overtime. Tony Zendejas kicked 3 field goals in that one, and the last one descended into overtime. Second and 10. James. 5 yards as he cut inside a good block on that right side. Reuben Carter, the veteran from Miami of Florida. He's played more games at nose tackle than any man in NFL history. Made the tackle.
I got to tell you, you've got to be a real survivor to stay in there at nose tackle with people hammering at you and throwing at your legs all the time. And Reuben Carter is exactly that. A prototype in many ways because of his body build. The perfect build for that nose tackle position. Short legs, powerful upper body.
6 feet and 256 was Carter. You saw his arms as he went off the field. Third down and a long 5. Hand off to James, and he has blockers. 30, 25, and he steps out of bounds inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. Boy, was that a good call. They caught the Broncos inside and ran around them for 15.
It's something that the New England Patriots did very effectively last year, running out of that shotgun formation. Denver coming, expecting the pass play, the simple handoff, forward handoff to James, and it's just a student body to the left as they get out in front of him. Daniel Hunter couldn't get a hold of him. James stepping out of bounds with a little assistance from Steve Wilson, number 45, but they got the first down.
A key block, Stanley Morgan at the point. Eason slipping and setting and throwing, has a man open, but overshoots Fryer. Tony Eason, Charles Carroll III, if you will, from University of Illinois. There's the play. Now Ramsey calls it in. Grogan whispering in his ear what the play call is. And this really is somewhat revolutionary. A head coach giving that responsibility, calling the plays to a backup quarterback, the veteran Grogan. Why don't more coaches go to it? Or do you think more will?
I don't think there are many coaches whose egos would allow them to let a quarterback call the plays like that.
It does say something
especially about a backup quarterback.
Fake to Collins, and Eason holds on. Mike Harden has him down at the 14.
And I think if Stanley Morgan had stayed on that pattern longer, he could have kept Harden turned around. Looked like Morgan slipped or stopped, and Eason, who was in the naked bootleg, was cut down with just a short gain. Let's see. I think maybe Eason did that on his own. I think he surprised everyone. And there was Morgan. You saw Harden just charging Morgan there, getting away from him and coming over to make the rather firm tackle on Eason.
3rd and 5, deep in Denver territory, trailing 3-0 New England.
Oh, bad snap.
Eason. Down he goes for the second Broncos sack. Simon Fletcher, number 73 from University of Houston.
Eason had been sacked but 6 times on the season coming into this game. The Broncos have 2 rather quickly here in the first half. Simon Fletcher, number 73, one of those young defensive linemen that they're so pleased about here in Denver. You see Mecklenburg getting the first piece of him. I think Mecklenburg actually is going to get credit for the sack. He got there with a hand on the leg first.
He'll at least get a half. Franklin missed from 42 yards in the first quarter. This one will be 34. And we have a new game. With 13 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the first half. Franklin has 3 and Carlos has 3.
When Mazda asked me if I'd like to take some hot laps in one of their RX-7 race cars, they didn't have to ask twice. Whew, I'm telling you, nothing pours out power as smoothly as a rotary engine. It makes for a great race car and a great sports car. This RX-7 also has one of the most advanced suspension systems in the world. It loves to be driven hard. Check it out. But don't blame me if you start hating what you're driving now.
Want to take it out again, Mr. Garner?
Like I said, you don't have to ask me twice.
Yeah, I know I need life insurance, but I hate spending money on something I hope I'll never use and won't be around to enjoy if it ever is used.
Leave it to the good hands, people. Allstate has life insurance that pays you for living. Allstate Universal Life. It protects your family if you die, and it can provide competitive earnings for your retirement.
So, my family's set if I'm gone, and I'm in the money if I stick around. I think I'll stick around.
You're in good hands with Allstate. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
We're MCI. We match ourselves with a worthy opponent, then put them to the test of competition. And because we compete with tenacity as well as technology, we've built a network so modern, it enables you to leverage our knowledge to your advantage. MCI, thousands of people who compete for one reason, to help you win. MCI, communications for the next 100 years.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. By United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. And by National Car Rental, you deserve national attention.
Welcome back to Mile High Stadium. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. Steve Big House Moore, the offensive tackle of the Patriots. The left knee wrapped heavily. We have received no official word from downstairs. Tony Franklin with the game tied at 3. Spins it a bit short. At the 3, Ken Bell, a rookie. 10. And doesn't make it to the 15. The 190-pound free agent from Boston College, Ken Bell.
Kickers love it in Denver. That ball travels further here than it does anywhere else in the country. And Franklin kicked off 6 times last week. The furthest he kicked the ball was to the 12 of Seattle. He did have an excuse, however. He'd been in the hospital a couple of days earlier in the week and was not happy, of course, with his performance. That ball down to the goal line on that particular shot.
Welcome to Denver. Those of you who have seen the exciting game played in the Astrodome between the Steelers and the Oilers, and Pittsburgh on a Walter Abercrombie run, winning 22-16 in overtime. Intercepted by Lawrence McGrew. McGrew at the 10 and down at the 6-yard line. A flag is down, back by Elway, and we may have a foul against New England. No, it's holding Denver, and the interception will hold.
We saw Lawrence McGrew going off the field. Some concern for his knee. He certainly didn't appear to have any slowing on that play as he read the quarterback beautifully, snared that ball.
First down and goal.
Carried it down inside the 6-yard line. Watch Elway. Elway's going to be decked as he delivers this football. I believe it's Garen Veras, number 60, who gets him. Bingo, right there.
Toby Williams.
Oh, Toby Williams. Veras had gone by, but you see the shot there. Pressure again, the key. He's trying to get it over the head of the linebackers, and those are big linebackers. No luck.
First of the year, 3rd in his career, 1st and goal. Misdirection. Craig James did not fool Rulon Jones, who has become a real force outside defensively. Out of Utah State, a 2nd-round pick, 11 sacks 2 years ago. He had 10 more last year. He has 3 this year. He's moved from the right side to the left side.
Although he plays all over, I think Joe Collier moves those people constantly in that defense. 2 starters of the 3 are from Utah State. Pretty good school there, turning out a lot of linemen.
Yeah, how are they doing this year?
Not so good this year, Dick, I'm afraid.
2nd and goal, a 3-all tie, early 2nd quarter. Over the middle to Morgan, and he has his 5th touchdown of the year.
Some confusion in the defensive secondary. Louis Wright had backed off on Morgan, giving him all kinds of room. Stanley just takes the short route inside, and Eason very easily dropped the ball in front of him. Morgan with 3 big touchdowns last week in that game, has his first here today.
Eason And the quick hit to Morgan underneath, and that one really found much too much room in that situation.
Somebody blew the coverage.
Try for point by Franklin. He's got it. And the interception by Lawrence McGrew, and return to the 5, and Tony Eason to Stanley Morgan spells a 10-3 New England lead.
I've always had a special feeling for Mavericks. It's gotten me associated with winners like the Raiders and Mazda. You know what? Mazda trucks were just named #1 in overall customer satisfaction. They beat some pretty big names to come out on top. Not only are Mazda owners satisfied with their truck, they're even more satisfied with the way Mazda comes through for them after they bought it. You know, I like being even a small part of all this winning that's going on around me.
A very small part.
That small?
Right.
Come on.
Panasonic, the future of office automation. Advanced equipment with an extraordinary concept. The easier, the better. Panasonic offers solutions to your special computer problems. High-speed microprocessors, high-resolution monitors, and high-performance printers, which make them a very easy choice. Panasonic computers and computer peripherals, like our typewriters and copiers, the easier, the better. Panasonic Office Automation.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Dolphins battle the Patriots.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
Stanley Morgan, a sensational year. Don't look at the top, look at the bottom. Stanley Morgan now with 24 catches, 395 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Watson, Jackson, Johnson, and Sampson, the sons, the wide receivers of the Denver Broncos, 1 less reception, less yardage, and less touchdowns. So Morgan has been a team. And here's his 5th from Eason.
Just a simple slant inside. Ken Woodard, the linebacker, the man closest to him, but hard to tell. You know somebody blew an assignment when he's that open.
Franklin kicking toward the rookie Bell at the 5. 20. Oh my, down at the 28-yard line. We've had some spectacular flips by the Denver return men. Mosi Tutupu applied the catapult.
Tutupu, New England's player of the year last year on special teams, continues to show you why. Well, I tell you, he gets his body down there in a hurry. No fear in him either. Watch the shot here on Bell as he takes his legs. That's almost a full 1.5 somersault.
No pike position, or you could have really given a score on that.
Well, I tell you, that is scary when you get up in the air like that and watch those legs just swing over the top.
Elway, who had his 143 pass streak without an interception, broken on his last throw and intercepted by McGrew on his 144th toss. Throws this one through the hands of Sammy Winder. That brings a low grumble from this partisan crowd. So the Steelers, after losing 3 in a row, and that has to be regarded as a surprise. Houston off to a good start, losing in overtime at home. Late games, Jets by 3, Chargers by 6, Atlanta leading 7-6 over Tampa Bay, looking for 4 in a row. They're off to their best start in a long time. Through the hands of Winder. That one apparently should have been caught. First one looked like a bad throw, and Winder had both hands in that one.
Well, coaches will keep a stat of dropped passes. Elway has had several dropped here today. The last 2 by Winder. This ball high. You see Winder going up, having to reach for it. That last one may have had a little too much zip on it, but Elway has to control that powerful arm. Boy, he throws the ball very, very hard. In fact, I think it has the hardest, most powerful arm in all of football, and he's had to learn how to control that tool. It's been a curse as well as a blessing to him.
3rd and 10, and Elway's 3 for 10. goes through the hands of Steve Sewell right to a New England Patriot.
That's an illustration of how hard Elway can throw the ball. He really lined that one in there. Very difficult to catch that ball, but he knew he had to throw it that way because the man was covered. And it was either you're going to catch it or nobody's going to catch it. Watch how hard that ball is thrown. That ball is just zipped. And even though Don Blackman was a step away, couldn't react and get there in time, unfortunately, Sewell couldn't hang on to it either.
Vincey Glenn, 25, also with thoughts of an intercept. Wheel, who had an excellent 55-yard punt, his only other kick in the game. Fryer back at his 32. Fryer has room to run at the 27. Jim Ryan down on the kick return, and kick defense teams able to make the stop. 46 yards, 5 yards on the return from a hesitant Fryer. 11:37 remaining in the half.
Give me a light.
That's not correct, Steve. Don't just ask for a light beer.
Come on, give me a light.
You asked for it, Steve.
Bud Light!
Yes, Steve. Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste.
Don't just ask for a light.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light, Steve.
Who are you calling? You've been on the phone forever.
The Air Express Company. They won't pick up the phone.
Hold it. If you'd called Federal Express, you wouldn't be having this problem. Come with me. You see, Federal has the most advanced communication system in the business.
I didn't know that.
And this lets us respond to calls in seconds and give you information quicker.
I didn't know that.
Next time, call Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
I think I'll call Federal. Then maybe I'll get this stupid phone off my ear.
As much as I'd like to take credit for Mazda's success, it's really cars like this 626 sedan that deserve the credit. When I recommend one, people are quick to see why it's such a perfect family car. It's got a versatile interior, great seats, too. But it also has all the credentials of a road car. I'll tell you, people sure don't mind hearing it's thousands less than the average new car today, either.
Jimmy, I knew you'd forget to tell him about the trunk.
Oh, yes, it's got a nice trunk.
Nice big trunk.
Nice big trunk.
An American tradition continues. They are baseball's most acclaimed hitmen. Don Mattingly and Wade Boggs have captured the last 3 American League batting titles. Next Saturday, these two swingers go eye to eye for the 86th crown as the Yankees battle the Red Sox or the Braves meet the Astros. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting.
Welcome back to Mile High Stadium on just an absolutely perfect football afternoon. Oh, what a delight. The weather, 2 outstanding teams, another sellout crowd. 10-3, New England with the ball and the lead from the Pats 31. Eason on first down out of the backfield. A fine catch by Tony Collins. Diving catch for 6 in front of Mecklenburg.
Dick, one of the things that the Denver defense will try to do repeatedly is to shift around in there. They try and confuse the offense. Now let's watch it for a second. You see them as they're moving across in the line. Now they've actually just started to make their shift. You see these 2 linemen are shifting across. Mecklenburg is going to move over here. They do that just before the snap of the ball to try and confuse the blocking assignments inside. On that particular play, they did a good job of picking it up, giving Eason time to throw.
On 2nd and 4, James runs into some orange brick, maybe 3 yards to the 40, and will be just shy of a first down. You know, the leftovers from the Super Bowl, one of the nice stories involved Craig James, Merlin Olsen, that he didn't forget the people who got him to where he is now, and he invited his high school coach from Texas, from city of Houston, to come as his guest to the Super Bowl in New Orleans to see him play. I thought that was one of the nicer touches of a long day for the Patriots.
More pain than anything out of that day for these Patriots. That's something I want to talk about.
3rd and short. James doesn't make it. In fact, may have lost a half yard. Flag is down. Well, the unsorted, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KNBC TV, Channel 4, Los Angeles.
Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen in Denver, Colorado, where the unbeaten Broncos trail.
Number 52 on the defense. First down.
New England 10-3, and that offside cost the Broncos the ball because that would have brought up 4th and 1.
Linebacker Ken Woodard obviously forcing that ball and up inside. And I mentioned, Dick, the pain, the losing of that Super Bowl game by the Patriots. And of course the pain they had right afterwards. A lot of drug rumors and problems swirling around. Barry has refused to talk about it, but there were only 2 ways to go. You either got stronger or you crumbled. It would appear to me that the Patriots have gotten stronger because of that adversity.
Barry really proving himself as an outstanding leader in many, many ways. No gain for Tony Collins. Yeah, there's a comment that Barry made last year at the Super Bowl time. What he learned, he thinks the most important thing he's learned as a head coach is when not to coach. Jets now by 10 at Indianapolis in the second period. The Raiders 0-3 and the Chargers 6-0. A low-scoring game for those two teams. I wonder if Marcus Allen is playing. Atlanta looking for 4 in a row. It'd be their best start ever in Atlanta should they beat Tampa Bay today. Here it is 10-3 New England. Second down 11. Mecklenburg has Eason. And they're going to roll in the grass, band control. So that'll be a sack for Mecklenburg, a minus 17 yards.
Eason can't believe it. Went up to talk to the official. Mecklenburg storming in from the right side and moved over to the right linebacking position. Watch him as he just slides inside and jumps right over the top of Craig James. Tremendous athletic ability demonstrated there, and that's the officials are trying to protect those quarterbacks. And boy, I'll tell you, we've had enough quarterbacks hurt already this season. No question. Mecklenburg has him, has a hold of him, and he's going to the ground. The official with a quick whistle to try and protect Eason on that play.
They allowed progress to the 30, so it's a 15-yard loss. 3rd and 16. Or 3rd and 26, rather. Craig James slips down at his own 34-yard line, and it'll be 4th and long, and here comes the punting team.
Timing messed up on that screen play as James actually got out ahead of the blockers who pulled out in front of him on the line. Of course, you have to wonder if maybe the change in the lineup where Haley has gone in place of Moore may have impacted that because it was thrown to Moore's side.
Gerald Wilhite stands at the 20. 10 men on the line for Denver. Are they coming after Camarillo this time? What a kick. He roots it deep. Wilhite all the way back to his 8-yard line. Slips at the 17. Oh, did Camarillo get a hold of that one? So trailing by 7, Denver starts deep in its own end. A 59-yard punt.